evening, Steel City. Welcome to the one-year anniversary show of the Yinzer Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Tonight, our 52nd edition will be live from the original podcast room of the Black and Gold Paraphernalia. On tonight's show, in just about 24 hours, the Pittsburgh Steelers will play the Baltimore Ravens in an AFC wildcard game as the Steelers made the sixth seeding from the third seed they had a hold of. Now, the road through the playoffs will be torture. Think of this. They want to make the Super Bowl, going to have to win in Baltimore, Buffalo, and possibly KC on the road. This four-game losing streak has our Pittsburgh faithful calling for all types of ways to get rid of Mike Tomlin. The Steelers fan base is tired of the late season collapses and not winning big games. And your host here of the Yinzer Report will question Mike Tomlin on our great tradition that looks to be tarnished. His standard lately is not the Steelers' standard. Hashtag here we go. Speaking of losing big games, Penn State with the Nittany Lions Nation taking over Miami will miss out on a national championship again as they lose to Notre Dame and a classic of an Orange Bowl college football playoff game. The 27-24 loss was, in my opinion, not Coach Franklin's fault. The quarterback, Drew Aller, throwing a very indecisive pass that just killed Penn State. Hashtag we are. Also have updates on the Pirates, Penguins. Also, I will have updates on the Pittsburgh Penguins holding on to their playoff spot, and some men's college basketball with the Pitt Panthers already with 12 wins. Hashtag all hail Pitt. We'll start this year's first year anniversary show off with our tremendous sponsors, IE Sports Radio new sponsor Vital, along with the amazing Planet Jerky, premium beef jerky, the jerky that's on another planet, and Seal the Deal Wax, seal wax stamps. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. Plus, IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports, and why we are doing this on the air. Pittsburgh, Steel City, come join me on my 52nd episode, one-year anniversary. This is the Yinzer Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Let's go!
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, Single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon, but it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns into the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clinking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. IE Sports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, take part in your iron therapy, and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
Well, good evening, everybody. This is Ralph Calise, your host of the Yinzer Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Welcome to my 1-year anniversary show of the Yinzer Report here on IE Sports Radio. And yes, it was about a year ago I was given the reins to do the Yinzer Report by IE Sports Radio. And Larry B. and company, I've been doing this for a year now, and I'm still on the air. So thank you guys for the opportunity, and I hope everybody is enjoying the show. Of course, if you would like to leave me any comments on the show or anything you would like to ask me personally, you can reach me personally on Calise R786 on X Twitter, and we also have the show's feed on X at YinzerReport_IE. As you just heard from our tremendous sponsors there. That vital sponsorship there, that hits a nerve for tomorrow's Steeler game, man. I hope they're up at 4 a.m. getting their gear on, ready to go and work out on the football field. But we'll get into the Steelers in a little bit. And you got the Planet Jerky Premium Beef Jerky. Get all your beef jerky for upcoming events for at your house, movies, sports, wherever you like to choose to eat the Planet Beef Jerky. And you got Seal the Deal wax seals, wax stamps from Cecilia B. And Valentine's Day is right around the corner, so that extra touch with those seals will look really good on your Valentine's cards or your Valentine's gifts, and however you would like to use them. So we're going to start the show off tonight. We're going to start off with Penn State, who played in the Orange Bowl last night versus Notre Dame. And as you can see, the headline for this segment is Penn State's easy road to the college football playoff championship game takes a wrong exit to elimination. So they were deemed as having the easiest path to the championship game, and they ran into Notre Dame last night, and Notre Dame came away with a 27-24 win, and it was a classic game. I mean, there was so much going on. We'll get into the game in a little bit, but what I went and did today was I wanted to see how the headlines went for the game, how they played out during the game afterwards, because there's that cloud hanging over Coach Franklin's head that he can't win the big game, and I guess this classifies as that. He didn't win the big game again. But I don't know. Looking into it, I think the big game means is a championship. He didn't win the championship in the Big Ten. And I guess if he would have got to the championship game here and he didn't win, they consider that a big game. But this is a big game. So, in my opinion, we're going to get into it. I don't believe this was his fault. So here are some of the headlines I dug up through the national media today. And you'll see what they say. One was late interception plus field goal push Irish to the national title game. Big game. This was one I found towards James Franklin. Big game, James, all over again, and that's all it said. Pluck of the Irish. That's pluck meaning because of the interception. And then this was a pretty cool one. It said happy ending with the ND in capital letters in ending for Notre Dame. Another one was Mitch Jeter nails field goal late to send Irish to the college football playoff title game. Notre Dame defeats Penn State in the Orange Bowl thrill, advances to title game. Notre Dame wins a classic against Penn State to earn a chance at the college football playoff national championship. Notre Dame gets a late pick and field goal to make the title game with a 27-24 win over Penn State. Notre Dame tops Penn State in a back-and-forth thriller and advances to the college football playoff final. Penn State's Drew Aller and wide receivers cost James Franklin a shot at a big game redemption. There's a kind of a different twist of a headline there for James Franklin. And then this one, I found this one. This was in like a Penn State type of media thing there on the websites. All they wrote was, "It sucks. Penn State close yet so far away. Penn State drops the Orange Bowl to Notre Dame in heartbreaking fashion." So as you could see, some of the headlines there, not really many of them were calling for. And these were national headlines from all different media outlets. Not many called for James Franklin's head, but let's get into the game. And of course, one of the biggest plays was Penn State quarterback Drew Aller threw the interception at the towards the end of the game there. Very indecisive pass that he threw. And he said a lot about it. He wasn't shy about speaking about it after the game. And here's some of the stuff that came out on it. Penn State quarterback Drew Aller said he was trying to throw the ball into the ground, which, I don't know, seems very weird that he would say that. If you go back and you see the play, it didn't look like he was throwing the ball to the ground. The Notre Dame defensive back, Christian Gray, dove for it anyway, and luck of the Irish, the ball ended up in his hands. It was a great pick. A few seconds later, Gray and Notre Dame found themselves with the spot in the national title game after a thrill a minute, 27-24 victory over Penn State. Of course, last night in the Orange Bowl, Gray's snag of Alice ill-advised pass across the middle at the Nittany Lions 42 with 32 seconds left, set up the 49-yard drive. Set up a 19-yard drive that ended up with Mitch Jeter's winning 41-yard field goal. Now, like I said, Drew Aller, he had a lot to say about the play. He explained he saw first two options covered on the play, then wanted to throw the ball into the dirt, but the throw under pressure and across his body didn't have enough zip on it to reach either receiver, Amari Evans, or the ground before Gray dove on it. He said, honestly, I was trying to throw it at his feet. The junior quarterback, considered by some to be a first-round pick if he leaves for the NFL, said, I should have thrown it away. When I saw the first two progressions were not open, I didn't execute. Of course, this was the most memorable play of the game. That was the best of what's been in a sleepy few weeks of college football. It featured 3 ties, 3 lead changes, and 31 points in the fourth quarter alone. Yeah, it was a great game. The second half was just insane. Coach Franklin fell to 4-20 with the Nittany Lions against teams ranked in the AP top 10. He said everyone wants to look at a specific play, but there's probably 8 to 12 plays in the game that could have made the difference. I'm not going to call out specific plays or specific players. There are a ton of plays where we could have done better. So that's what Coach Franklin's thoughts were on that play and the game. Notre Dame quarterback Riley Leonard shook off a hit late in the second quarter that sent him to the medical tent to be checked for a concussion. He came back and led the Irish in 4 scoring drives in the second half, including the last one. Now, that was in my opinion, that was a very important part of the game, because if you remember, he got knocked out, and in the game came a backup quarterback for Notre Dame, and the quarterback's name was Steve Angeli. And this kid, I think, put the momentum on Notre Dame's side when he came in for Riley Leonard. So it was a big moment. There was a minute 39 left in the second quarter. As we just mentioned, Riley Leonard was removed from the game for what they said was to check on a concussion when he went in the medical tent. And the backup quarterback, Steve Angeli, came in the game and finished the 13-play, 52-yard drive, ending in a field goal. He was on the field quarterbacking for 12 plays despite being sacked twice. He showed great poise and got Notre Dame in field goal range for the 41-yarder by Jeter in less than 2 minutes. Actually less than a minute 39 seconds. This, like I said, the field goal, I think, gave the offense the momentum in the second half, because Riley Leonard came back, and the first drive in the second half, they had a great drive. They went right down the field, Notre Dame, and they tied the game up at 10. So just a little more on the backup quarterback, who I think really played a big part in this game. Like I said, I believe he gave Notre Dame the momentum they needed, because the first drive in the second half, Riley came back and he scored the touchdown. Touchdown pass. Well, it's touchdown run. I'm sorry, but Steve Angeli's total stats in the 12 plays that he played in the less than 1 minute and 39 seconds, he was 6 of 7, 44 yards passing. He did endure 2 sacks. Right? He took 2 sacks on that drive. And the sacks came up basically to minus 12 yards rushing, but that had really nothing to do with the way he was driving them down the field against that defense. As we all know, if you watch the game started slow, but Riley's injury injected life into things. He led Notre Dame on TD drives of 75 and 72 yards in the third quarter to take a 17-10 lead. And I don't know if you guys noticed in the game, normally when you see like teams playing with white uniforms, you get to you see, like, if they're playing on grass, you get to see types of grass stains or dirt stains on their uniforms. If you took a look at Riley Leonard's uniform in the first half when he was coming out of that game, if you happen to go back and see like a replay of the game, just take a look at the back of his uniform, and that'll show you how much he was on the ground in the first half by Penn State. It was greener than the green in the Irish clover leaf. It was wild. At that point, there was fun. The fun was just getting started. Like I said, Penn State had its chances, and Aller, along with all those Nittany Lion fans who will spend the offseason now reliving the last throw or trying to forget it, Penn State forced a Notre Dame punt and looked assured to at least going to overtime when they took over at the 15 with 47 seconds left. After a gain of 13 yards on a run, Aller dropped back to pass, had some pressure coming. He threw it across his body to the middle of the field, and that's when Gray Dovan made the pickoff. They reviewed the play. The review showed the catch was good, and the Irish were on to the next step. Penn State's Nick Singleton ran for 84 yards and had the hat trick in football with 3 touchdowns running. Off target for much of the day, Aller finished 12 of 23, 135 yards with his interception. He's hurting right now. He should be. We're all hurting, said Coach James Franklin. The quarterback, like I said, didn't duck any questions about his play, his role in the loss. We didn't win the game, so it wasn't good enough. It's plain and simple. It sucks, Aller said. I'll try to learn from it, do everything in my power to get better, to grow from it. So he took all the blame. Like I said, I don't think it was James Franklin who lost this game for Notre Dame. It just came down to that one play. There was some manly touchdown runs in that fourth quarter. There was one by Love from Notre Dame that was insane. Anybody out there from IE Sports Radio who was on the app last night as we were going over the game was just going crazy over that run. And then the guy Nick Singleton on Penn State had his own run after that for a touchdown. That was crazy. Some takeaways of the game that I wrote down. As you guys can see, I like to take notes while I'm watching the games. Like we mentioned before, the first half was a defensive standout for both teams. Each team came up with INTs, and only Penn State field goal scored, and Nick Singleton TD run just before the 2-minute warning when Notre Dame got the ball back and got that drive with the field goal. I mentioned Steve Angeli. He came in and he did what he had to do for the Notre Dame to get him that field goal. I'm telling you, I think that was the momentum play driving the game right there. One thing on Penn State, they simply did not have the big time players in the passing game. Penn State did not have, and that was the impact players in the passing game. Tyler Warren was present and, of course, played his outstanding game. But there were two numbers that I noticed afterwards that we should focus on, and it's 0 catches, 0 yards. And what do I mean by that is Penn State's wide receivers last night, all of them combined, they caught 0 passes. So if you ain't catching any passes, you ain't gaining any yards. 0 passes, 0 yards. They caught 0 passes. It does not matter how good your running game is, how good your tight ends are, what your quarterback does, and what your defense does. It is going to be nearly impossible to win a national title, getting quite literally nothing from your wide receivers in the biggest game of the season. Drew Allen also, in my opinion, had a miserable game, struggling with his accuracy and throwing an interception at the worst possible time. He also had two interceptions in the end zone negated by Notre Dame penalties. He missed a wide-open touchdown early in the game, resulting in a Penn State to have to settle for a field goal. And he did miss another pass later on. There was a guy wide open running down the sideline. He missed that one too. So this I found this and I jotted it down. Penn State coach James Franklin will take a lot of the heat for losing another big game to a top 5 team, but this one is not on him. He coached a strong game. He emphasized the running game, did not make any glaring bad decisions. Sometimes a coach just needs players to make some plays. His passing game, it did not make enough. So, man, they really put this on Drew Allen and the quarterback for Penn State. So he's going to have to live through his thoughts throughout the rest of the college season or coming into next year. Like it said before, whether he's going to go into the NFL or not. I believe he already committed to come back to Penn State, but that can change. So what happens now for Penn State? It's back to work. They will have a different yet similar look with the roster next year. Over the next few days and weeks, much will be made about looming decisions from those eligible to declare for the draft and those who want to take a chance in the transfer portal. New look already is in effect as Beaver Stadium has gone through some renovations. It will be a 4-year renovation, $700 million renovation of Beaver Stadium. The completion date is for a time in 2027. The university has begun the project this year with maintenance and winterization work to ensure that Penn State can host another college football playoff game. This year's kickoff of the renovation was demolishing the stadium's press box. So they ripped down the press box right after that SMU game, and they started the preparing for the renovations. Just as here, the press box project begins while Penn State is calling a large-scale demolition of Beaver Stadium's Upper West Side, Crews will be on site 24/7 for the next 6 weeks to prepare the site for construction that will take place ahead of the 2025 season. Penn State plans for some temporary seating for the 2025 season, but has not announced any details. So they'll get their new press box and they'll get some more seats for next year as they go along with the renovation. Penn State, of course, will look to get better. They have a lot of their core kids coming back, especially up front. With this, the early makings are to be good, if not better, next year. But the positive outlook for the future does little to nothing to take away the sting of the present and would have to be what could have been for Penn State. So Penn State falls short of a national championship again, and they go into the off season. They'll have to wonder about what happened and come back next year, and we'll go from there. And I do believe you're going to see James Franklin back. All right, so that was pretty good. Let's check the comments. So, like I said, this is my 1 year anniversary of the Yinzer report, and let's see. Here's the comments. All right, here we go. Mary Shea, first one. Have a great show and happy 1 year anniversary. Good luck to the Steelers. Going to be a great weekend, a good weekend of football. Thank you, Mary. Thank you. Ricky Keeler. Hey, Ricky, how you doing, pal? Maybe that game was a blessing in disguise to get Allen to stay in school. Maybe. I mean, everybody says he looks like he could be an NFL quarterback, but yeah, he was not good yesterday. Indy Sports Nation, Big Mike, have a great show, buddy. What a game last night. Yes, and congratulations to your Notre Dame team. I know you were rooting hard for them. Mikey Guns, hey, what's up, my brother? Great show. Thank you, Mikey. Thanks for joining in. We have I missed the start. Here we go. Terran Rodriguez, good evening, Ralph. Have an awesome show. Thank you, Terran. Thanks for joining in. The Chargers, thank you for letting us have the 5th seed, but I think the Steelers have a chance against the Ratbirds. Terran, I got a whole spiel coming up about that, coming up with the 5th seed, the 6th seed, the 3rd seed, whatever seed they were. And now they have to go into Baltimore and play the, as you call them, the Ratbirds, which I usually call them too, out of disrespect because it's a Steeler-Raven rivalry. But I don't know. I just can't. I just can't do it. Well, we'll get into it. Danny Man, my nephew, happy 1 year. Thanks, buddy. Thank you. And there's his dad, Ray Man. Happy anniversary, Ralph. Have a great show. Thank you, guys. And Ricky Killer again. Happy 1 year anniversary. Always Arizona Sports. Aiden, have a good show. Ralph, thank you for joining in. I did that one. Okay, yes, I basically got everybody. All right, so we're going to take a break, and when I get back, we will get to the Steelers, and we'll be right back after this. This is the Yinzer Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the iSports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop, including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hello, sports fans. It's me, your boy Larry B, and I want to walk you through the world of sports. No, not just the mainstream major TV deal type sports, although those are important too. But let me be your guide for your journey of all sports, from college to the pros, the minors, and everything in between. Each week, we are talking sports galore with true diehards just like you from a hardcore fan's perspective that's sure to quench your thirst around leagues you may know all too well and some you may even discover here. That's right, sports fans. If you love sports of all kinds, enjoy hearing amazing sports stories, and respect all sports because you know how difficult any of them can be to play or compete in, then this is your show. Join me, your boy Larry B, on the defining moment each week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports, and let the sports come to you.
All right, welcome back. This is Ralph Calise, host of the Yinzer Report on IE Sports Radio. Thank you, everybody, for coming back. I'm going to get into the Steelers now, and I just want to play a clip of, I don't know if you guys remember, a couple of weeks ago, I had Mike Pat on. He's the host of the DMV Let's Whine About Sports show, and he does all Washington, Baltimore sports. And we spoke about the Steelers and Ravens rivalry, and basically, we did a pick for that game and things that would happen afterward. So I want to share to you this one part that happened during that show that me and Mike nailed, and here it goes.
I'm still mad about that game. They beat us too in Cleveland in the snow, and that's killing us right now. But like I was saying, if the Steelers, they have it all in front of them. They win tomorrow, they win the division to get a home game.
Yep.
They lose tomorrow, they could lose out, and they could go into possibly the playoffs as maybe the last seed.
Yes.
You got the Chargers, you got Denver.
It could flip on it that quickly,
Exactly.
for sure.
That's
absolutely, man. Yeah, and wouldn't it be funny if the stars aligned and if the Ravens win and they win the division, the Steelers go to Baltimore again in the playoffs?
And that's the possibility. Even if the Steelers win the division, it could still happen.
Right.
And there's always that saying out there where the toughest thing to do is beat somebody 3 times in one season. The same team.
Right.
That's it. I'm saying if the Steelers win tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, in that case, you kind of want us to win tomorrow because then when you play us in the playoffs, you don't have to worry about the 3 wins in a season thing.
And that was me and Mike Pat talking Steelers Ravens, and look at that. It panned out. That's what happened. Steelers, like Taryn mentioned earlier, thanking the Steelers for the 5th seed. Yeah, they were in position. They went into that game against Baltimore. They were 10-4, and all they had to do was win that game. They would have won the division. They would have clinched a home game. And as everybody knows, they're on a 4-game losing streak now, and they dropped from the 3rd seed to the 6th seed, which now does not give them a home game, and they have to go through the road, like I mentioned at the top. Good luck with this. Good luck to your road to the Super Bowl, Pittsburgh, because you have to beat Baltimore and Baltimore. You'll probably have to beat Buffalo, and then you'll have to beat Kansas City to get to the Super Bowl. And good luck. I don't think that's happening at all. But anyway, let's get into it anyway. It'll start off with the game last Saturday versus Cincinnati. It's just crazy in Pittsburgh right now. What's going on? It's just nuts. So there was a graphic during the Cincinnati game showing why so many Steeler fans are sick and tired of Mike Tomlin. Okay, so the graphic came up on the game versus the Bengals last Saturday, and the Steelers in the playoffs under Mike Tomlin the last 13 seasons, 3-8 record. 5 straight losses, They went 7 seasons without. They've gone 7 seasons without a conference championship. Add on 3 of the last 4 seasons, 3-game losing streaks. With this year having a 4-game losing streak, the first ever, I believe, in Mike Tomlin's career. Now, the recap versus the Bengals was, of course, it was the 4th loss in a row to end the season. It was torture, really embarrassing. We're backing into the playoffs. Yet again, you had 10 days to prepare for a Bengals team with a points given up defense to come up with an offensive plan, and you come up with a run-heavy plan. After a month ago, you put 44 points up on the Bengals. By the 4th quarter, you only had 96 total yards offense. Are you serious? The defense actually did their part, holding MVP candidate Joe Burrow to field goal drives after the first drive, which was a TD drive, which the defense looked like it was late to the game. So, yeah, they went right down the field. Now, the offense with Russell Wilson was going great about 5 games ago with the let Russ cook chance, as everybody was jumping on his back. Recently, he has looked like Russ is cooked. And it looks like Matt Canada is back calling plays for the Steelers. I mean, these plays they're running, they're running the ball, and it's like the defenses know what's coming. It's terrible. It's terrible. Najee Harris can't hit a hole. He's getting tackled behind the line of scrimmage. Jaylen Warren comes in the game to try to speed things up, and he gets 4 or 5 yards, and that's it. They take him out and they put Najee Harris back in. Playing small ball football, the Steelers are playing. They ran the ball 9 times on first down. That's almost every drive they had. And thinking and game planning this way is not going to win football games. This is small ball at its best. The Steelers are the smallest football team on offense in the NFL right now. To think you're going to win this way is embarrassing. So you finish the season at 10-7 on a 4-game losing streak. Russell Wilson is playing the crappiest football of his career, in my opinion. And I mentioned a couple of shows ago that George Pickens was going to be an added addition when he came back. This kid, I don't know what's wrong with this kid, but he couldn't catch a ball Saturday. I don't know if anybody saw the game. He had 6 targets. He dropped 5 of them. And he caught 1 for negative yards. He couldn't catch a cold as well as catch a ball. And then he shows his non-needed nonsense when things are not going his way. It was just disgraceful. He had to have teammates hold him back. He's arguing with the fans. He's giving hand gestures to the fans. Come on, what are you doing? Yeah, to me right now, the Steelers are so dysfunctional. This is every year now an important part of the season, and this team's coaching checks out. It's just dysfunctional. So now getting into the piece that I just played. So we had dropped to the 6th seed, and we head out to our rivals now in Baltimore, who are one of the teams in the last 4 games who made this real dysfunctional. Well, more torture will come, but we all hate losing like this, but we won't quit. It's the playoffs, and everyone is 0-0. And so in my mind, it is torture at this point, but also in my mind, I will find a way to believe, but to believe is hope. And my hope with the Steelers has run out. With Steelers Nation, it's a painful time to be a Steelers fan right now. So that's my feeling on what's going on after that game. And now, of course, the week goes along, and all kinds of things are coming out now on Mike Tomlin, whether he'll be fired, or he'll resign, or the Steelers going to trade him. Well, here we go. Here's my deal with Mike Tomlin. Okay, I wrote a bunch of things down. I had them in my head. And as far as the Steelers change with Mike Tomlin, the thought, nothing will change because accountability never makes it past the coordinators. How many December collapses do we need to see? how many in-game and weeks before planning not working do you need to see in games, especially big ones? The players are complaining about communication problems, and we were in week 15 and 16 when that happened. Really, what is the standard? Mike Tomlin is the standard. It all goes through and by him. And basically what that statement means is it's all Mike Tomlin. If you notice, Mike Tomlin, he basically has the final say on the coordinators that he hires and lets go. And my son brought this point up to me the other day, and he is 100% correct. Why do you think none of the coordinators of the Steelers ever get a chance at a Steelers coaching job? Because Mike Tomlin is picking the coordinators, and these coordinating guys do not have the talent or the mindset to be a head coach, and he already knows this when he's hiring them. It makes sense. It sounds crazy, but it makes sense. Mike Tomlin's standard goes, how about Mike's standard goes, how about our team owner, Art Rooney II? He's losing Steeler fans, and I received a text from a good friend I met in Latrobe from going to training camp, and here is his frustration along with a lot of other Steeler fans. Now, this is a good friend I met in Latrobe when I started going years ago. He's actually a little older than me, and he's a big Steelers fan. And he texted me this the other day he texted me this Sunday, actually. He texted me, Art Rooney II has just lost a lifelong Steelers fan. I have been a fan of the Steelers since I was born in 1961. He said, Ralph, my father raised me only to root for the Steelers. I have honored his wishes my entire life. After today's pitiful performance, excuse me for a second. After today's pitiful performance, and after the last 6 games, I can no longer watch this poorly coached team play. I will not watch another game until mediocre Mike is fired. The Rooneys need to shit or get off the pot. If the Rooneys care more about the Rooney Rule than they do about winning Super Bowls, they need to sell the team. Never thought I could get so angry over football. It doesn't affect my life if the Steelers win or lose in any way at this point. But back when football was football, it mattered. It was a family experience. Sundays was Steelers Sundays in the fall. Everything wrapped around Steeler football. I know, extreme, right? But that's how my father raised all of us. No clue what else to say. Thanks, Art Rooney II, for ruining Sundays. Now, this is a good friend of mine that I met in Latrobe from going to camp. I'm sorry, and he has checked out. That was a strong text. I mean, and just to read that on air, man, I feel it. I feel it. I feel it as a Steeler fan. I feel where he's coming from. I really do. I really do. So I compounded his little his long text there by the Steelers are in trouble from the top down. This owner, the Rooney II, is not his dad. His dad was a football guy. Art too isn't. He is a lawyer who is more worried about an image in a relationship than winning, and that is so true. The GM is stuck. He is a distant third wheel when it comes to decision-making. He has no power. He is there to make sure they don't go over the cap and to manage the scout staff. That's it. The coach, Mike Tomlin, can't and won't be fired no matter how mediocre he is. He is beloved nationally, and the man who could fire him is scared to death to get backlash from the national media. He is in an organization where firing a coach is worse than murder. He is never going to be held accountable for anything, and he knows it. The Steelers don't have a legit quarterback on their roster, and there isn't one coming anytime soon. The quarterback free agent market is terrible, and they won't be in a position to draft one high enough to get a franchise guy. And until Art Second passes the torch to his son Dan, the Steelers are going to be mediocre at best. And like my friend wrote before that, as a Steeler fan, it pains me. It pains me to be a Steeler fan like this. So Is Mike Tomlin leaving? Steeler Nation wants that, but does the Rooney in charge have the guts to relieve Tomlin of his duties? And I say no. I say Rooney II is not going to let Mike Tomlin go. The only way Mike Tomlin will leave is if he resigns himself. And I really don't want to get into this because, like my friend wrote, Mike Tomlin is part. First of all, let's go back. Let's go back. There is a thing in the NFL called the Rooney Rule, and that has to do with hiring black coaches as far as your head coach. And there's a certain amount that have to be hired and all that. I don't want to get into it because I don't want to turn this into a racial thing. Dan Rooney is part of the Rooneys are part of that Rooney Rule. Mike Tomlin is part of that Rooney Rule. So if you think Dan Rooney is going to fire Mike Tomlin, being one of the main guys of the Rooney Rule, I don't know what to tell you. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And another reason why I feel that he won't fire Mike Tomlin, and I don't know. I put this out there on the IE Sports Radio group when we had it, and there was an article out there that I read one time that the Rooneys love Mike Tomlin so much that he has a family room inside the Rooney's house. So all the media personnel and everybody out there, Mike Tomlin this, Mike Tomlin fired, Mike Tomlin traded, it's not Mike Tomlin Mike Tomlin is not going to leave the Steelers. It's going to have to be Dan Rooney, who's going to have to step up, grow a pair, like my friend said, shit off the pot, or however he put that saying there, and he's going to have to go through and do what he thinks is best for the Steelers, because right now, this is a joke. This is really bad. You're heading into a playoff game tomorrow, and there's all this talk about your team, and your coach that let's trade him. He needs to go. Let's fire him. Communication problems. Your players ain't playing for you. And this is not the right time for that. It's dysfunctional, like mentioned at the beginning. It's so dysfunctional. It's not even funny. And it's just hard to comprehend because being a lifelong Steeler fan, I've rarely went through this. And as far as Mike Tomlin, you guys know I vouch for him all the time, and I am a what they call a Mike Tomlin lover. I love Mike Tomlin. I like Mike Tomlin, but I don't know this past month and these past games that have been played for the Steelers. He says the standard is the standard. I think he's tarnished the Steelers. He's tarnished them. Look what's happened the past couple of games. They lost to Kansas City, okay? They lost to Kansas City. He gave up in that game. They weren't going to win. They were down 14 points or 17 points, whatever, but he gave up. And what happened afterwards? You got the Kansas City Chiefs in their locker room dressing up people as well. Well, it was Andy Reid, dressing him up as Santa Claus, prancing around the locker room. Hey, Merry Christmas, you're in Pittsburgh. You're in a Pittsburgh locker room, and they're doing this. Last week, they lose to the Bengals. Okay? You come out in your press conference, you say, yeah, it wasn't there, but we made some improvements, and things have to change. Things have to get better. We'll go to work tomorrow. We'll look at it and this and that. What do the Bengals do? They're in their locker room playing Renegade, sticking it up your ass, Mike. Come on. Steelers football. This is not how we do it. I'm at the point where I don't want to watch the game tomorrow. I really don't. This This is just insane. Just insane. Man, I had such a bad night Saturday night. I went to sleep. I had the chills. I had a migraine like you wouldn't believe. And I do believe it was all because of the Steelers. I do believe it was all because of the Steelers. I told my wife that I don't feel good. And she goes, it's because they lost. And I'm telling her, no, it's not because they lost. I think I'm sick. It was because they lost. Oh, boy. Let's go to the comments. Oh, perfect timing. There's my son. Let's go Steelers. He's got the F star K Baltimore. If we lose and get blown out, Tomlin needs to go. Oh, love you, kid. Let's go Steelers. That's all I can say. Like I said before, both teams are 0-0. And tomorrow, hey, they go into Baltimore tomorrow, and we'll see how it goes. They definitely have some. They got a break. Zay Flowers is going to be out for Baltimore. I mean, I don't know how much that is going to affect us, but they do have some what they call locker room talk from the Ravens this week. Again, like I just said, now the teams were celebrating in their locker rooms in Pittsburgh. Lamar Jackson came out this week with a perfume or a cologne or whatever you want to call it. I don't even know which one it is. The way the players were saying it could be a perfume, it could be a cologne. But one of the players was asked, what does it smell like? And in the background, you heard somebody yell out, like George Pickens, soft. Oh. It's just insane. Just insane. And then the best is Harbaugh announces that Zay Flowers is out in his press conference. And he goes, Zay Flowers will be out this week. He's not playing. But we'll have him prepared to play for next week. He's already saying that they're going to beat the Steelers because Zay Flowers is going to prepare for next week. I just hope we show up tomorrow. Let's just put it that way. I saw on social media before I came on, they were all getting on the plane to go to Baltimore, so I guess they're there. But, yep, tomorrow, Steelers are playing the Baltimore Ravens, and it will be at 8 o'clock. I think it's on Prime Video. It's not even on regular TV. But, the Steelers playing in these primetime games at 8 o'clock. It has not been good all year. So, at least I was good. I was able to get that rant out. All right. Thank you, IE Sports Radio, for giving me the time to do that because I needed to get that off my chest. I feel relieved now. All right. I'm going to take a quick break. Going to go a little over here today. So if anybody out there from IE Sports Radio does not want me to go over, just hit me up and let me know. I'm going to take a quick break, come back. We're going to do a little Penguins and a little Pitt basketball. This is the Yinzer Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be right back.
Hello, ladies and sinners. Hello, sports fans around the world. Hello, IE Sports family. This is Cale Henderson, the host of IE Vegas, the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio. If you folks are interested in sports in the Vegas area, if you're wanting to have a blast for 1 hour, every Tuesday night from 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, this is a show built for the Vegas sports fans, where we feature the Las Vegas Raiders, the Las Vegas Golden Knights, the Las Vegas Aces, and the University of Las Vegas, Nevada Rebels. Hopefully, fingers crossed, MLB team coming soon. Either way, if you folks are looking to have a blast for 1 hour each And every week, tune in Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you folks are interested in Vegas sports news, go to our Twitter at SinCities_IESR. And you can speak with me, the host, Cale Henderson, at Cale_Henderson on Twitter. At any time, be happy to reply. Always want to reach out to our fans. Again, the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
All right, welcome back. This is the Yinzer Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all out of sports. I'll gonna have to get out to the IE Sports Radio public relations people out there and let them know that that drop had no saying to it. It was just music. I did not realize that. I'm sorry about that. So let's get into the Pittsburgh Penguins. As they, as I put out there on the screen, they're 18-17 with 8 overtime losses, 44 points, and they are in a wild card playoff spot at this point. So they have 43 games played, 18-17, 8 overtime losses, 44 points. They have regulation overtime wins of 17. 133 goals for and 159 goals allowed. They're 12-7 at home and 6-10 and 5 on the road. They're 5th in the Metro, 1st in the wild card spot, as we mentioned. And their last 4 games have netted them points versus Florida, Carolina, Columbus, and last night they had a 5-3 win versus Edmonton. So that's 2, 3. That's 5 points in their last 4 games. Okay. But like they say in hockey, you start every game with a point. It's just up to you to keep the point and get the extra point. So that's how hockey goes. Sidney Crosby moved into 9th on the NHL's career scoring list, scoring a goal and 2 assists. He tied Hall of Famer Joe Sakic at 1,641 points with an assist, and then moved past him with his second assist of the game. And he finished the game with a career total of points of 1,643. He had 2 assists and 1 goal. The Penguins, they remain a work in progress at midseason, but have showed they can compete with the NHL's best on any given night. And there was an injury update with Evgeny Malkin. He missed his second straight game with an upper body injury. He does, however, have a chance to crack the lineup tomorrow night versus the Ottawa Senators. So the Penguins are rolling along as we come to the midpoint part of the season. And I just want to mention this. We had some junior hockey being played last week, and I actually watched the final game. So USA won the World Juniors Championship. So this is another hockey note, being that we're talking about the Penguins. The Yinzer Report would like to truly congratulate the 2025 USA World Junior Championship gold medal winning team. USA. The championship gold medal game played in Ottawa, Ontario, had US versus Finland. US erased a 2-goal deflick, and it earned a 4-3 victory in overtime in the gold medal game of the 2025 IIHF World Junior Championship. This marked the first time in history that the USA has won back-to-back World Junior gold medals. Head coach David Call excitedly said afterwards, they grew as a team, played for each other, and ultimately accomplished something that has never been done by helping our nation win back-to-back gold medals in the World Juniors. This is USA's 7th gold medal of the IIHF World Junior Championships. The 6 previous were 2004, 2010, 2013, 2017, and 2021. So great job by the USA Juniors. And I looked up to see if there was any because the juniors have players that have been drafted already by some teams. The Penguins, there were no ties with any Pittsburgh Penguins to the 2025 USA World Junior Hockey Team. So congrats to them, and a good job, well done. That's 2 years in a row they won. All right, so that does it for the Penguins. And last but not least, I'm going to give you guys a little update on some NCAA men's basketball. That's the Pittsburgh Panthers, as we all know. They play in the ACC, and right now they are tied for 4th with about 3 other teams with a 3-1 record, but they are 12-3 on the year. So they have 12 wins already in the season. So they've been playing pretty well. Their points per game are 70th, are 70, and their opponent's points per game are 69.3. That's in the ACC. I'm sorry. And in the Division 1, they have their points per game are 81.6. And their opponent points are 68.9. So you can see the disparity there. That's that probably why they got 12 wins. Their NC ranks right now at the AP. They're just about at the 25th ranking. They're 26th, and the coaches poll at 28th. So we'll look for Pitt to crack the top 25 shortly. But they did lose to Duke. They got blown out by Duke this past week. They did have a 4-game winning streak from the December 11th, 2024 to the new year, January 7th, 2025. Their wins were versus Eastern Kentucky, Sam Houston, California, and Stanford. And like I just said, they lost at number 4 Duke on Tuesday, and they got blown out. It was 76-47. The Panthers' worst game of the season. They shot 31% and going the last 8 minutes without a point. That's wild. 8 minutes. Imagine not scoring a point in basketball for 8 minutes, no matter what level it is. The Panthers were on a 5-game winning streak since the blowout loss. Their second of the season to the second of the season to Mississippi State in an ACC-SEC challenge game on December 4th. First, Duke, Pittsburgh's hybrid scoring duo of Ishmael Leggett and Jalen Lowe. Leggett was averaging 17.8 points per game. Lowe was averaging 17.4 points per game. They're a dynamic backcourt duo if you get a chance to watch them. They were powering the Pitt offense all season, and their roughest outing of the season, Leggett only had 4 points of 2 of 15 of shooting. Lowe had 8 points, 3 of 12 shooting, and Pitt trailed 34-24 at halftime and never got within single digits after the break. And Pitt is at home tomorrow. They host Louisville in an ACC battle. So we'll follow them as the college basketball is kicking in. We're in January, and hey, the tournament's right around the corner. A tournament for the NCAA tournament and the tournaments for the divisions. You know, that comes in March Madness, and hopefully the Panthers can be in it this year because they got screwed last year. All right, so that's it. This was the Yinzer Report's 1-year anniversary show. Let's go. Thanks for everybody who tuned in. Thanks for everybody in the chat. Thanks for the views out there. I see 232 people as we are live right now. And, yeah, that was a pretty good show. I was able to get my Steeler rant out. They are playing tomorrow. And they will and we'll see what happens. We'll see what Mike Tomlin, his coaches, and the players come out with. They better come out with their best. No holding back tomorrow. It's the last game of the season if they lose. All right, so this has been the Yinzer Report 1-year anniversary episode. I will speak to you guys next week. Thanks again for tuning in. Have a great night. Have a great weekend. And take care.